All right. We're here with Mr. Content Marketing, Joe Pulizzi. Joe, congratulations. It's your fifth content marketing. How does it feel?
Oh, it's fantastic that we have 50 countries represented here and over 3,500 people. I never guessed this if you said that 5 years ago we'd have this many,
Absolutely.
but it's definitely a revolution that's happening, and I think it's good for everyone.
Absolutely wonderful. You have a new book out as well, Party On Tonight, Content Inc. What is it all about?
Content Inc. It's a new book because it targets startups, small businesses, and entrepreneurs. All the other three books that I've written have been all focused on enterprises. So I always got the question of somebody, if an enterprise marketer comes up to me and says, Joe, how do I do content marketing? I say, Epic Content Marketing. Just read it. You're good. You'll be fine. If a small business came up, I can't give them that book. It's a totally different book. It's much more complex, and a small business doesn't have that. The other thing is, I really believe startups and entrepreneurs, small businesses, I think there's a different model that you can actually grow your business through a content-first approach, and that's what the book talks about. It's like, how do you build an audience first, and then launch your products and services on the back, and you basically created built-in customer list before you're ready to sell. I think it's the best absolute way to launch a business, but we talk about probably about 30 case studies in the book around it, so I like that those are available, and I think that that's sort of a future business model for small businesses, and they can really have an even playing field with the larger companies.
Excellent. It's all about building your audience first. It's also about one channel at a time. Start with one channel and then build upon that. Can you elaborate on that?
Sure.
That a little bit?
Well, it's so interesting because when you look at most large companies today, they're like, we got to be on Facebook, got to be on Twitter, got to do a blog, got to do podcasts, so they want to be doing everything. And what we found in our research and when we were doing interviews with some of these super successful companies from all over the world, we found out that the best model is focus on one type of content. Is that textual? Is it video? Is it audio? One platform. Is it my blog site? Is it iTunes? Is it YouTube? Consistently deliver content over time. So super simple formula that most large businesses don't do. But a small business can say, look, we can focus, we can be the best in the world at this, and that's where we're seeing some amazing case studies.
And why do you think large companies don't get that?
Well, first of all, it's all about the campaign still. So the consistency is taken out because you don't think about, oh, this is going to take 15 to 17 months to really build an audience. They're like, hey, well, we got 6 months, we need more leads, we need more sales. We need
more short-term strategy.
Way more short-term, and it's interesting how much more patient smaller businesses can afford to be if you have an owner or an executive team that really believes in that. So I think that's the bigger issue. I think the other thing is when you have, look at a large enterprise. Look at a multi-billion-dollar global company today. They have public relations, communications, marketing, social, email, probably all in different groups, not talking to each other. Nobody's on the same page, nobody has a consistent strategy, and they're actually competing with each other. The other thing is they have lots of different customers, and they want to talk to all of them at the same time. The small business can say, oh, I have a couple different audiences, but that one person, I'm going to create amazing content for that one person that's the best in the world. And we're going to be the leading informational resource for that person. A large business wouldn't take that bet. But that's exactly how niche and focused we need to go. So I think the future model for a large business is actually content brands for multiple niches instead of saying, oh, we've got this global platform. But as soon as you go so broad, you're so irrelevant, and you're not going to get any traction. You're not going to build an audience. Small businesses are more focused, can be more focused, and I think that David versus Goliath scenario is in play.
Do you think they will keep that going once they get bigger and bigger?
That's a good question. I think if the interviews hold true, where we've seen these really like one-person startups grow into not billion-dollar companies, but multi-million-dollar companies, because they started content first, they keep that in their culture. So I think that they will continue to grow in that audience-focused approach.
Well, the answer is maybe in the Content Marketing Institute itself. You grew incredibly in 5 years. So you had that experience about, okay, it's still about content first, isn't it?
Well,
you're a large company now, or starting to be a large company.
Yeah, exactly, and we'll always stay that direction. But it was so funny as I started the book, as we were talking about before, I was like, I didn't know how many other companies were doing this model. We're like, hey, look, we're not gonna sell anything to this audience. We're just gonna grow the audience for a while. And that's a risk for a lot of companies to take, especially small businesses. Say we're gonna put off revenue. Large businesses, I think it's much tougher to do that because their jobs are on the line. We don't want to get fired. We got to get more leads. And but I think that in a large company, you could take this model. You could take this content first approach and say, hey, if we've got executive sponsorship, if we got belief in it, give us a year and a half. And we can build an audience, and then we can monetize it. It's absolutely possible.
Create a startup culture inside
Yeah,
a corporate
absolutely. Skunkworks
organization.
operation inside the organization.
When you're talking to small companies, do you think they really realize that they have this wonderful opportunity? That before it was big companies have deep pockets, they're always stronger, you know, big eyes, the bullies. And now small companies really have big opportunities.
I don't think they realize it. No. And when I get a small, just the other day, CEO comes up to me and says, I can't compete with the big budget brands. I said, you don't even know the opportunity you have. You have no barriers to entry for publishing technology. You can publish on equal footing with any other company. At the same time, your consumers, they want great information 24/7. They have access to everything. They can get whatever they want. It's not the biggest budget that wins. It's the one that's going to solve the informational challenges of my audience, of that person the best, and do it consistently over time. So yeah, I think that what I'm hoping is that more small businesses realize that there's a huge opportunity, because right now there's just not enough of us out there doing it.
And for content marketing to succeed, it needs entrepreneurship, it needs sponsorship, it needs guts, because it's new. So small companies might even be in a better position.
These are of course, who are the future enterprises? There's startups today that are getting started, and who are the fastest growing companies out there, at least the ones we talked about in the book? They're the ones that started with this content first approach, and they can grow faster because the audience already knows, likes, and trusts them, and they're willing to buy quicker than if you just said, hey, I got this great product, just like every other product out there, but no, this one's better, buy this. Instead of, they're saying, oh, well, that company's been delivering me awesome information for a year now.
Exactly.
I'm going to listen to what they have to say if they offer a product.
True.
So.
Brilliant.
Excellent. You have a lot of things to do, Joe. We'll let you go now. Congratulations on your 5th and on your book, obviously, and we'll see you around for the few days to come.
Thank you for all your support.
No worries.
Thank you.
Okay.
Awesome.
See you, Joe.